This has serious implications for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they miss out on another quarterback in free agency. The Cleveland Browns have signed their next starting quarterback, and the Pittsburgh Steelers miss out on another veteran quarterback who has won a Super Bowl. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be diving into the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Before we get into the news, if you guys are not already currently subscribed, click that subscribe button down below. Only 9% of our current viewers are currently subscribed. So if you click that subscribe button, we're going to get you guys the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Let's get right into it. So like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers have missed out on another veteran quarterback as the Cleveland Browns have signed Joe Flacco out of free agency. Joe Flacco is just a sitting duck for the past couple weeks. Since free agency started, he was rumored to have visits with some teams. I think the New York Giants had him in on a visit, and he was checking out his options. But obviously, in the past couple years, Joe Flacco, the only team he's had real true success with was the Cleveland Browns in 2022 or 2023. I forget, but he led them on to the playoffs in that year. They looked really good, but obviously in Cleveland Brown fashion, they did let him go, and he did sign a one-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts last year. Obviously, we saw him last year in Indy, and he beat us, which kind of sucked because he was kind of switching off with Anthony Richardson, who he's a whole different project down there in Indianapolis. So obviously, the Cleveland Browns, they are a quarterback-needy franchise, and they get their guy in Joe Flacco. This obviously means that they will probably not go quarterback in the first round. It's probably looking like they will get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. We'll have to wait and see. Just to check out some of the contract details, the Browns and Joe Flacco, this is off NFL.com. The Browns and Joe Flacco agreed to a one-year deal, $40 million. NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo reported that news this morning. And, it's a return to Cleveland for the 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who spent 2024 in Indianapolis after helping the Browns to the postseason in 2023, like I said. And he joins a room with Kenny Pickett, our former first-round pick, and Deshaun Watson, the notorious Deshaun Watson. We all know what his deal is, and obviously he's really just wasting a roster spot. I don't know what they're going to do and how they're going to get rid of him, but obviously he sucks, and he will probably be gone by the beginning of the season or after this year. But obviously Flacco does know Kevin Stefanski's offensive system well and went 4-1 with the Browns in 2023. This kind of sucks for us Pittsburgh Steelers as we miss out on Joe Flacco. This was a guy that reportedly Mike Tomlin really wanted, and he definitely wanted to at least have a visit with him. Obviously, if Flacco didn't even come to Pittsburgh, I don't know how all Steelers fans would feel with Joe Flacco under center in the black and gold. But at this point, I think a lot of fans would have just been happy with him. Obviously, we do not still have our starting quarterback. We have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson on the roster. Not a knock on those guys, but they're really not looking like franchise quarterbacks. So we obviously do not have our QB1. And missing out on Flacco is kind of rough. We've been dealing with Aaron Rodgers and his whole fiasco this whole offseason. Whether or not he's going to sign with us or the Minnesota Vikings, who, they already have J.J. McCarthy, a young guy who they see as their potential future starter. So Aaron Rodgers has just been waiting out on that, waiting to see if they have any interest in him. Obviously, they've came out and said that they don't, but we'll have to wait and see because he's still waiting, and there's really been no update, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are not pushing to get him. They've really just let him go with the whole situation, let him choose what he wants to do with his future. But they have reportedly offered him a deal, and, we'll have to wait and see. The draft is coming up, and obviously we did host Shadur Sanders on a visit yesterday, and he really liked the visit. He said it was a 10 out of 10. It was a 10 out of 10 visit, and he really liked it. He came on NFL Network in the morning and said that. Whether or not the Pittsburgh Steelers will trade up to get him, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, in the past couple of days, TJ Watt has also posted his kind of fair share of, stuff on social media with the peace sign on his story. So missing out on Joe Flacco is another kick in the gut. And the Steelers will have to just go somewhere else with quarterback. I don't know what they're planning, but I do believe in Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. I do believe they do have something up their sleeve. But obviously it is not Joe Flacco. they'll have to go in another direction as the Cleveland Clowns get a quarterback room full. And like I said, they're probably going to go pass rusher or corner/wide receiver at the number 2 overall pick. But that does open up a potential trade up for Shedeur Sanders for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If the Clowns do not decide they decide they do not want Shedeur, he could fall. And if the Giants don't select him, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been rumored to be trading to the New England Patriots for that 4th pick. Unfortunately, the trade rumors are TJ Watt, as he does look to sign a bigger extension this offseason. And like I said earlier, him and the Pittsburgh Steelers have not really had a great relationship in the past couple weeks. He obviously posted that picture on social media, which really indicates that the Pittsburgh Steelers and him are not on great terms, and the contract situation is not going well. But TJ is under contract for another year, so he is obliged to play for us. So whether or not we're still going to have him for at least one more year, Pittsburgh Steelers could be waiting out, just holding out to offer him a deal. They've really done that in the past with a lot of free agents. A ton of guys you'll see don't sign their big deals until preseason or the start of the season. Most of the time, the Pittsburgh Steelers really don't like to lock down guys randomly before the draft. They kind of do it once mini camp is over and they kind of see them in shape. Hopefully nobody's injured, and they most of the time wait and pay the guys then. I believe when TJ got paid last time, it was around the same time. It was during training camp, because there was a few weeks of him where he was just in shorts, and he was doing a holding in situation where obviously he wouldn't practice, but he would show up to meetings, show up to the building, but obviously would not practice until he got paid. Hopefully we will get a contract done with him soon before that time, but it's really tough that the Steelers did not get Joe Flacco. Looking back, as we swing back to it, because Joe Flacco, he did play pretty well for the Indianapolis Colts last year, and he was a serviceable veteran, and he does not give you that personality side that Aaron Rodgers would give you. He's obviously not a diva. Joe Flacco is the kind of guy where he just kind of shuts up and let his work show for him. Obviously, he went to Delaware, and he also went to Pitt in college, so he did have that Pitt connection. I was just kind of waiting to see whether or not he did want to come back or not, because obviously he did have kind of a bad experience in college as he transferred from Pitt to Delaware in his college career. But obviously, he is a Cleveland Clown now. He's joining Kenny Pickett and Deshaun Watson in their quarterback room. It really does not change much for them. I still think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a way better football team overall than the Cleveland Browns, but we'll have to see until next year who will be under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers facing up against division rival Joe Flacco. That is all I have for you guys tonight on Steelers Digest. If you guys are not already currently subscribed, click that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Here we go, Pittsburgh Steelers. Peace out, yo.